while we're doing this here. And it seems to be working. We seems to be Zooming right now. It's a beautiful thing. Hey, some guests in Zoom here today with WIFC. Myself, Dave Kallaway. Look at that. Nikki Montgomery's right here. Check it out. Hey, hey. And a very special guest. We are joined with, it's Dan Emerson over at Wausau West, band director extraordinaire. Dan, hello.
Hello. Good morning, Dave.
You got, I'm telling you, we just, there was something Nikki and I were discussing. Nikki, remember when we were talking about trying to teach anybody anything online, and especially if you needed something with you while you're trying to learn. For example, music.
Yeah, instruments.
How? Is there, because have you been dealing with this virtually where you've tried to teach your band kids stuff online?
Yeah, we're just starting. We're in our second day here of school. And so really going over procedures right now. And it's, it's certainly going to look different because obviously the kids aren't together. And that's really what band is about, or choir or orchestra is about, being together, right? It's about being together with your friends and making music together. And so it's going to be quite a different thing. And but we're going to give it our best. Just try to keep the kids playing, try to keep music happening.
Right. See, Nikki and I, we were quizzing each other about this, and we thought, let's go to an expert, you, and ask you about the timing thing, because how many kids might be in an online, class situation at the same time for band?
So my concert band, we have 65 kids in there at one time. Is my biggest group.
And
are you focusing mostly like on music theory right now, or are you trying to direct all of them in playing at the same time?
So we're going to have them playing, but the interesting thing is they're all going to be on mute. So because of the delay, you can't have people, it's impossible to do. Can't do it because everyone's delay is slightly different. So it just turns into total chaos. So, but on my end, I can provide a metronome. I can provide a play along recording. I can provide those things. I can even conduct along with it, and they can follow along. But again, the weird thing from my perspective is that I don't get to hear them. I only get to hear my play along track or my metronome, and I see me doing this because otherwise, if I unmute, one or two kids, then they're basically playing solos in front of their whole class. And that can be a pretty stressful thing for kids. And for some reason, the virtual thing makes it even more stressful on some of those kids. So we're trying to avoid that, trying to make them, go around the room and say, all right, Dave, now it's your turn to play the B flat scale. Good luck.
So are you doing any one-on-one practice sessions with these kids so that
Yes, we're going to be working right now with freshmen with our individual lesson program. And I think that's where we're going to be able to make the most progress and also build those connections with kids. Because when you're I'm sure you guys have been in Zoom meetings, and you're in a Zoom meeting with 65 kids or people, how do you build connections? It's nearly impossible to do so. Well, first of all, you can only see, I think, like 16 kids on the screen in Google Meet, which we're using. So, the other 50 of them are just in a list. And so I think those individual lessons with those incoming freshmen, especially who I don't know, we need to build those connections. And this summer we weren't able to do a band camp like we traditionally do. So it's starting the school year off really without knowing them for the first time in my career, without coming into the school year already knowing my freshmen from band camp. So it'll be an interesting experience.
Man, you mentioned metronome. I didn't know if you knew this, but right now in Top 40, there's a song that says metronome, and it says it in a very distinctive announcer voice on a song by AJR, and the song's called Bang. But they have kind of an announcer guy that is throughout the song, and at one point he says metronome. So that answered that question, because with professional working bands, about click tracks.
Yep.
And so I've seen where some of them have been able to pull it off in Zoom rooms where no one's near anybody in the band, but they're all using click tracks to stay on time. And was wondering, so your metronome sort of serves as that to get them all in, so that they're all in time, or?
Sure. Yep. Well, let me show you real quick. So if I go like this, and I say, here we go, kids, 1, 2, ready and play, off we go, right?
Yes.
So if they're going to all be playing, they're going to hear that click track, they're going to see me conducting. But again, their microphones can't be on because that delay coming back is up to a second, sometimes a little bit more. And some of the kids with faster internet or slower internet, or, depending on Google, you never know what you're going to get in return. So that's the interesting thing about it. But yeah, we can play recordings, play along tracks, and the sound quality is pretty good coming into their ears. They'll all have, earbuds or headphones on so that they can hear it while they're playing.
And I've noticed that at the beginning of the pandemic, when we all got into Zoom rooms and started using WebEx and, Microsoft Teams and all this kind of stuff, is that I thought that the audio was really not going to be very good at all. But in some cases, especially if you're recording something that you're working on, that it can be very good,
Yep.
Yeah.
Zoom has some new features, new settings specifically for music for people who are maybe studying private lessons, because a lot of people are doing private lessons virtually now, and they have some music specific settings that are not going to compress that audio when you're playing on your instrument, so you get a much better sound. Google Meet unfortunately doesn't have that, which is what we're using, but I think the audio quality coming from my end, coming from that, I'm playing from a second device running through a mixer and an audio interface here so that we can get some quality sound coming out to the kids.
So Nikki, see, you should be inspired with those cello lessons that you were wanting to take, that now it'll sound good online.
Yeah, exactly.
May not sound good right next to you, but it'll sound good online. So Dan, listen, also going into the fall, is there any way to do anything together? Do you think that you will be in virtual mode for a while, or can you get the kids together at any given point, looking forward?
Yeah, so we are looking at the possibility of getting kids together here in the near future, because Wausau School District approved fall sports. And because they approved fall sports, that means that some of our extracurricular and co-curricular activities are going to be able to get together. We are waiting right now on getting some bell covers. Some research that came out over the summer on aerosol studies said that band instruments should have covers over the bells to help prevent aerosols from coming out of the bells. And then kids are going to need to have masks that have slits in them for the mouthpiece to go in through that to, again, help prevent the spread of aerosols. But once we have those two pieces of the puzzle, we should be able to get together probably in an outdoor setting, and jam a little bit of at least pep band, and getting the kids together and playing. I think is going to be key, because band is about getting together.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do that sooner rather than later, even if we're not back in a blended learning or in-person environment. The question really is how long are we going to be able to be doing sports? As long as sports are on, then those extracurricular activities should be able to get together.
Amazing. Wow. We are vehicles of innovation, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We're
Yeah.
trying to build the airplane as it's flying here.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Dan, you rock. It's great talking with you, and just appreciate the little heads up on how to even do any of this virtually, and you gave us a heads up on that today.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
So cool. Oh, man, we've got material.